as you can see, I got a new haircut. It's shorter and it's fluffier. Something other than a ponytail. Is it nice? Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lulu and today I'm doing my first wrap-up ever for the month of June. I read a total of 7 books and I think it's a pretty solid number. It's not that much. It's not that many. Actually, it is a lot. So quite a few books. I listened to an audiobook. I read a book along with an audiobook. I read a book in Spanish. What else? I read a graphic novel and children's book. I learned a lot from that one. So let's just get into it. The first book I read this month was American Royals by Katherine McGee. Overall, I'd say it was a fun read. I thought it was okay for what it was. There was a lot of drama. It was very spicy. It kind of reminded me of like The Selection and like The Bachelor, but like also The Kardashians. Because it was like a mix of like a whole ton of drama. And like some of it felt unnecessary, but that's the whole premise of the book is drama. I forgot what I rated it, but it pretty much follows a family of American royals because George Washington had said, yes, I guess I will be your king. It follows the Washington family. Let me turn the lights on. I guess it didn't help. It never helps to turn the lights on. If I just stand here. And it follows the romances and how the whole family has to deal with like being this huge publicity and how the whole country is looking up to them. It's an interesting book. I kind of forgot what happens because I even read Majesty, which is the second book for this series. I listened to the audiobook and overall I'd say it was also pretty good, although it wasn't like the second book I read this month. It was the last one. And that one just pretty much like all of their drama gets like duplicated because now everybody has to like date somebody else and who you thought was gonna be with somebody is now not with somebody. Spoiler alert for the first book, I guess. I remember thinking like by the end, like halfway through, almost finishing Majesty, I was like, you know what, wouldn't it be so much simpler if everybody was just single and wasn't caught up in this whole mess? I also kind of had a small complaint about the boys. They all just kind of seem to be like there. Like I'm noticing with the romances that the boys or like the love interests always just seem to be there and they're always like either way too patient with the girls or I don't know. It kind of bothered me to look at like the boys and how they didn't really have a personality of their own. They were just there for the girls, which is fine I guess, but not necessarily what I kind of liked. The second book I read this month was Piecing Me Together by Renée Watson. This was a pretty good book. I really liked it. I thought it encompassed a lot of problems and a lot of issues that teenagers kind of have, because I know how she feels half the time, because I don't know. She wanted something and then she didn't get it because the teacher just didn't feel like giving it to her. You have other opportunities. You don't need this one. I don't have a lot of thoughts for these because I kind of forgot what happens. But Piecing Me Together, from what I remember, was pretty good. It's about this... Oh yeah, I remember. So the character is actually an interesting one. The main character is a black plus-size girl or overweight teenager, and it pretty much just shows how she struggles with her own identity. And Piecing Me Together was the second book I read. The third book I read is a book in Spanish. It's a classic Spanish literature. I'm not very sure. Como Agua para Chocolate by Esquivel. I can just say I have a lot of thoughts on this book. It took me months to finish. I listened to the audiobook while I read along because I didn't want to get lost, because this is like the second book I've ever read in Spanish, like this big. The first one was Pensativa, which was okay, but I didn't understand it. So this time I tried listening to the audiobook while I followed along, and I don't regret it because I actually did understand a lot of things, except I didn't, because I felt a lot of it was metaphorical. So pretty much it follows this main character named Tita, and Tita is like the youngest of a family. She can't get married. She's forced to take care of her mom, Mama Elena, until she dies because she is the youngest. The rest of her older sisters, is it Gertrudis and Rosaura? Rosa? I think it starts with an O. I'm just gonna call her Rosaura. I think that's her name. They can get married because they don't have to take care of Mama Elena, but Tita does. At the beginning of the book, Tita finds a man named Pedro and she's in love with him. The moment she sees him, she's like, oh my god, this guy's for me. She and him have this very deep connection just by looking at each other. And then they start talking and they get to know each other. They're like, yeah, I really like you. And he's like, after some time, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna ask for your hand in marriage or something like that. And she's like, oh my god, I love that, but I'm not allowed to get married because I have to take care of my mom until she dies. And he's like, oh, well, I'll just, try to ask for your hand and then we'll see what happens. She's like, okay. And so he does. He goes up to Mama Elena, who's super strict, super scary, kind of mean. He asks for Tita's hand in marriage, but Mama Elena obviously says, she's like, no, sorry, she's my youngest daughter and you can't have her hand in marriage because she's supposed to take care of me until the end of my days. So, but I'll give you another option. You can marry my oldest daughter, Rosaura. Just marry her instead. And, he kind of sat in the living room for a while and then he's like, okay, do it. And obviously Tita is upset. She doesn't talk to him for a while, and on the day of their wedding, she goes up to him and she says, congrats for marrying my sister. And he's like, yeah. They get in really close and he's like, actually, I'm marrying her to be close to you. And that's true. And she was very happy because of that. And so it pretty much is kind of a lot of drama unfurls from this. It's just a romance between Tita and Pedro and how they get together in the end. But the food aspect, this, I feel like I talk about food and everything. I'm like always eating, but today I'm not. The food. Okay, so the food plays an important part of this book. If you look on Goodreads, you'll notice a lot of people have shelved under food because for each chapter, there's 12 chapters total, and each chapter is a month. So January, February, March, April, etc. You guys know what that is. And then for each month, for example, you can see it says chapter 1, January, and then tortas de Navidad, which are like, well, I don't know what tortas are because I know they can be a couple of different things, but like Navidad is Christmas. Tortas de Navidad would be kind of like Christmas sandwiches, but they're not sandwiches because I don't know. I forgot what they are. I feel bad now. My mom makes them. Marzo, this is the third chapter. It's just the third month. And with each month comes the ingredients for a recipe. And it's a super fancy font. So pretty much throughout the chapter, you can see manera de hacerse, which is how to make it. And with each chapter, it'll describe how you make it, but incorporating it with the story. So it was nice, but it was also kind of weird because it would be like talking about, oh my god, said person has died and now they're dead and now everybody is sad. And then you just add 3 tablespoons of salt into your soup thing and you're like, well, that doesn't match the tone that we were going for, but okay. I'll make it. It also has like a magical, what's it called? Fantasy realism? A fantastical element in it, I think. Sometimes Tita, when she cooks, because she's a very good cook, whenever she cooks, she will feel a certain way. So if she's feeling super upset about something and she cooks and she's feeling really mad, well, she can make everybody that eats it like mad because it's like contagious or something like it's part of an ingredient she just accidentally threw in there. Cooking and then she just throws anger in there and she's like, good days. She threw one with like sadness in there and it literally killed somebody. She was so upset that she couldn't marry Pedro that she threw in sadness in there and she ended up killing somebody because that person was so devastated to not have their loved one. And then another one, I thought this part was funny. She was feeling very, she was having very passionate feelings for Pedro, but she couldn't, do anything with him because he was married to her sister. the thought of it. And so pretty much what she does is that all of these passionate feelings go into what they're going to eat that day, and then her sister eats it and she's like, oh my god, she starts feeling hot all over. She has to go up and run into a cold shower, and then she runs out naked into the streets, and some guy named Juan, I forgot like his middle name, but Juan just pretty much sees her and he's like, oh my god, love! Then he picks her up naked and then they run away. Because Tita was feeling very passionate that day. The way she cooked made her sister, not Rosaura, the other one, Gertrudis, I'm pretty sure, very hot. Yeah, I'm not very sure. A lot of the things that happen in here made me question myself and how it was able to publish. But I mean, it's fine, because at least we got the recipes. If I want to say make tortas de Navidad and finally figure out what tortas are, if they're not sandwiches, I will be able to look in here, highlight the parts where she talks about the recipe and make it. And not about the part where she throws in her sadness and kills somebody. So yeah, this book was pretty okay. Not my favorite. I guess I can deal with it. I have the box set, so I can't wait to read it. Also, the title in English, I think it's like Water for Chocolate. I'm not very sure. But it is, this one is in English. It's like a classic. It's a whole classic. That one I had a lot of thoughts on because you can tell I've read it for a couple of months and it just, the whole thing just hasn't gone away. So the fourth book I read this month was, and this is my library copy, but Teen Titans. This Teen Titans series, the Beast Boy edition, I read the first one, Ravens. I think I have the book somewhere. It's a little dusty. I read Raven a long time ago and I was like, I guess it's okay. That was very fast paced for me. The art was also pretty alright. Not my favorite type of art, but it's not bad. It's just not what I prefer. I thought this was pretty interesting. Gabriel Picolo based his Beast Boys, what's his name? I'm just gonna call him Beast Boy. Beast Boy's hairstyle off of his own, which I thought was pretty nice. Because you can do that when you're an artist. I wish I were an artist. This book was alright. It also felt pretty fast paced. He looks pretty cool. It's about this one kid named something, but we are going to call him Beast Boy. And Beast Boy, if you haven't seen like Teen Titans or like Teen Titans Go, he's pretty much the green one, the animal person. He can turn into animals, but they're green for some reason. Pretty much just follows him. He's like taking these pills because he's not like, I don't know, I guess it's like to hide his powers and what he can do and for his own safety, as you know parents do. His parents know, but he doesn't. He pretty much stops taking these pills one day, and then he like goes through puberty, and one night his legs grow, he's bulkier now, and he has hair on his face. So good for him. He's, you know, always wondering why he isn't growing, so one day he just stops taking the pills and he's like, whoa, puberty, finally. He's like 17 years old too. Oh look, here's the scene. Oh my god, that happens halfway through the book. Did I spoil it? I don't know, it's a whole thing until he changes. And then he notices he has these powers. He's like, whoa, I can do stuff. So it's pretty much him just trying to be a normal teenager and trying to be cool, but he's not cool because he looks like a kid until he takes the pills. I don't know. It's a whole thing. But pretty much, I think the third book in the series is where they finally meet each other because he runs away at the end of the book to find out some answers. I don't know if Raven does too. I forgot. But I think they meet and it's like Beast Boy falls in love with Raven or something like that. And all of this is very quick paced. That's why I don't like it. And it's fine, I guess. But when you're not, I don't know. I like something a little slower than this. And it's fine, but it's just not what I was looking for, not what I was in the mood for. Can you believe it? Not in the mood for a quick read. Okay, the fifth book I read this month was the children's book. I read this in a Walmart, believe it or not, out loud to my brother, and he ran away because he's like, don't do this. This is so embarrassing. And I'm like, that's why we do it. So I read The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Let me just tell you, I didn't know The Very Hungry Caterpillar was so hungry. He ate like 7 apples in one day. Can you believe that? Is that a spoiler? I don't know. I don't like how the cliffhanger just left you there with like, he turned into a butterfly and then it ends. But I think I understand why he was so hungry, the caterpillar I mean. He ate through the fruits instead of like all of it. If you eat the whole fruit, you get all of it, but he only ate through them. He only made holes in them, which is kind of annoying. I don't know, I feel like I thought too much. Kept me up at night thinking about why the hungry caterpillar was eating through the fruit when he can eat all of it. It's annoying when you only ate like a hole in it. So I read The Very Hungry Caterpillar in a Walmart. It was fine. It was okay. Not my favorite. I don't think I ever really liked it as a kid that much. And then I read Majesty, which I talked about a little. A lot of drama ×2, and it was okay. Not my favorite. I told you, Indiana just wanted everybody to be single. Because there was so much. I feel like it was so toxic. America is so toxic, if you know what I mean. The 7th and final book I read this month was Pet by Água. There's the title. You can hear this is also a library copy. I remember now what I said. This book, I gave it like 5 stars. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it so much. It's about this one trans black girl who has to fight this monster. And she doesn't know who it is or what it is, but pretty much her mother bid her paints something, and I mean something because you don't know what it is. And then Pet accidentally brings it to life, and he tells her the hunt has begun, or that there's a monster amidst their community. You don't really know what a monster is because I felt like at first it was very abstract. I didn't quite understand it. Maybe I'm just slow. And then I figured it out what a monster was, and it was a very interesting concept, the way the author was doing that, and I really liked it because I thought it was really nice. Jam is her name. Jam and her friend, Jam and Pet, which is the name of the thing, decide to start the hunt. She lets him stay, even though Bitter and her father, Aloe, says, no, you need to send it back. You can send it back, because she could send it back, but she's like, no, if it's harming my friend, then I want to make sure I take care of him. So she let him stay with like secrecy, and they take care of the problem. But I just thought that the way that she was, I don't remember how old she was, but I feel like she was much wiser beyond her years, and I kind of appreciate that, you know. Yeah, we may be kids, yet like she might be a kid, but she's not dumb. Like she knows what's going to make a difference and what isn't. Pet was going to kill the monster, and she says, no, don't kill him. If we kill the monster, we're not going to make a difference in this community, and more monsters are going to pop up. You'll have to hunt more often, and I know that's what you want, but that's not what we want when people have already been hurt. And she's like so passionate about it, and she makes sure she gets her point across, even though Pet is going wild with killing this monster. And her friend too, like I love how she stands strong and firm with her own beliefs instead of like going out and letting them do what they want, saying her own thing and then letting it hang in the air. She doesn't just let it hang. She makes sure that she has her word, and then she makes sure that it happens. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Not a lot of characters like her, I think. She's not stubborn. She's just firm with her beliefs, is what I'm trying to say. Which I think is the difference between a lot of other characters. And I appreciate that, because I feel like a lot of characters are stubborn. Like her friend was stubborn-ish. I don't know. I also will say this book is short. It was kind of quick-paced. I feel like all of this happened in like a day or so. But I guess the hunt just happens that way. It can be very long or very short. I kind of wish it was longer, but it was so straightforward that I thought it was okay. It was a straightforward way of writing. Those are my jumbled thoughts on the books I read for this month. Let me know if you've read any of these books or are planning to. I want to hear your thoughts on them. I thought a lot of them were fun, but some of them were like iffy, if you know what I mean. Let me know how your month went. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you staying till the end. It means a lot. And yeah, those are all the books. I'll see you next time. Bye!